All right, this is the last lesson for this week, lesson 17, subtracting with integers, and then we're going to add and subtract with multiple integers. Okay, so kind of two lessons in one, but they go hand in hand. All right, let's look at number 1, which is fill in the blank answers here. It says when subtracting negative numbers, change the subtraction sign to an addition sign and change the sign of the following or the next number after the subtraction sign to the opposite, okay? So if it's an addition, so if you change the subtraction sign to addition and the following number is positive, it is now negative. If it was negative, it's now positive, and we'll show that in examples. Follow the rules for adding negative numbers, which you can see on your paper as a review from yesterday. It says when adding negative numbers with the same sign, keep the sign and add the numbers normally. When adding negative numbers with different signs, subtract the numbers and keep the sign of the numerically larger number. Okay, and I'll have that reminder up there at the top of the page as we continue through our problems. Let's look at number 2. Number 2 says negative 13 minus a negative 4. Okay, so it says when subtracting negative numbers, change the subtraction sign to an addition sign. Boom, done. And then change the sign of the next number after the subtraction sign. So we're going to change this to its opposite. So we're going to now make that positive as well. And then I want you to rewrite your problem. So now we have negative 13 plus a positive 4. And then we can look up here. When adding negative numbers with different signs, subtraction, to just say when adding numbers, but that's okay. When adding negative numbers, should be integers, I'm sorry. When adding integers with different signs, subtract the numbers and keep the sign of the numerically larger number. 13 minus 4 gives you 9. 13 is larger than 4 and 13 is negative, so your answer is negative 9. And I'm actually going to go ahead and change that to say integer so that it's not confusing. It shouldn't say negative number. Now that that's been changed, let's look at another one. Let's look at number 5. Number 5 says negative 453 minus 23. All right, so we're going to change our subtraction sign to an addition sign. This number here, number 23, didn't have a sign, but when it doesn't have one that's written, it's understood to be positive. So now it's become negative. So our new problem is negative 453 plus a negative 23. Okay, and it says up here, when adding integers with the same sign, keep the sign and add the numbers normally. They have the same sign, so we're going to keep it. So it's going to be negative, and 453 plus 23 gives you 476. Your answer is negative 476. All right, there's one more we're going to look at. I'm going to look at one of the examples at the bottom here. Where it says follow the signs to the following numbers. You will work the problems from left to right. Remember that you can only work with 2 numbers at one time. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to look at number 9. Let's look at number 9. Number 9 says negative 234 minus a negative 89 minus 125. Okay, your first step is to change the subtraction signs. Don't touch this negative. This is a negative. These are subtraction. Okay, change them to addition signs and change the signs of the following numbers. Now, 125 was positive. It is now negative because you're doing the opposite. So now you have negative 234 plus 89 plus a negative 125. Well, if you look at just these first 2 numbers first, okay, so start with just the first 2 numbers. They have different signs, so you're going to subtract them. You're going to subtract because they have different signs. and you're going to keep the sign of the bigger number. Now, 234 is bigger, so your answer is going to be negative. 234 minus 89 is 145. Okay, so you finished this part. Now we're going to keep writing our problem down here, plus a negative 125. You have two numbers left. They have the same sign, so you're just going to add them and keep your negative. So your answer will be negative 270. Negative 270. So we changed all of our signs first. So this subtraction to a positive, change this one to positive, this subtraction sign to an addition sign. This positive number now becomes negative. You do the opposite. And then you work with two numbers at a time. These had different signs, so we subtracted and kept the sign of the larger number. Then we bring down the rest of our problem. These have the same sign. We add them and keep the negative sign. Okay? All right, I'm going to leave you to do the rest of them on your own. Please feel free to call me with any questions you have. Please take your time on these. Make sure that you are paying close attention to the signs and that you are changing them when you are doing subtraction. All right, have a great day.